Hey everybody, welcome to Thru Board Game Blog number 14 / Kickstarter update number 3. So for those of you that are just interested in my blog and not the Kickstarter stuff, I'm going to leave the Kickstarter stuff to the end. And for those of you that are watching this on Kickstarter, then I hope you have interest in what I'm going to show you first. And then I'll talk about some updates to the Kickstarter at the end. So anyway, I'm running a Kickstarter, and that's been a very fun experience. We have reached our first stretch goal. And so I thought it's sort of serendipitous, and it's also convenient for me in some instances. I have several Kickstarter games that are sort of in my pile that I've been able to play recently over the last couple of weeks and do reviews on. I just now threw up a review of Francis Drake from Eagle Gryphon and Kyle Games. Excellent game. So if you have any further interest in that game, definitely take a look at it. I'll put a link here on the YouTube channel and also in the description. Basically, I did a sort of glorified unboxing of this and got a geek mail from the designer, and he said I think he also is sort of the publisher of Kale. I'm not sure what his exact role is, but I know he designed the game. Basically, they're trying to make high quality sort of gamer games, I believe, but also really kind of go over the top on the components. And with this game especially, they've done an amazing job with the components. So this is actually one that I backed personally, and then so he went and sent me Jurassic Terror, which I've also had a chance to play, and also an excellent game. The components are a little ridiculous in this one in some senses. Comes with these little plastic dinosaurs, you find like at the dollar toy store kind of thing, but it's not a kid's game. So when you break this out, you see a bunch of dinosaurs and plastic, raptors and Tyrannosaurus Rex everywhere. This is a very bloody, mean, cutthroat area control game, which I love. I love area control games. I like El Grande so many years ago when I played it. I really like Tammany Hall. Tammany Hall's still in my collection. But this is kind of that same vein, and it plays up to 6. I haven't played it with 6 yet, but it is definitely got those traditional sort of area control. You've got to sort of try to plan ahead and expect that you're going to get attacked from certain directions and kind of gauge where all of those different attacks and displacements and things might come. So I'll be doing a review of this probably in a week or two. Probably about 2 weeks. I've only played it once so far, but definitely on first play it's very, very fun. Again, very mean and bloody, but it's cool because you're eating other people's dinosaurs and stuff, so that kind of makes it fun. It's not as serious. And just sort of a preview of coming attractions so people have interest. The next game, which I've had a chance to play a couple times now, this I'll probably do a review of this week, I expect, time permitting. Mars Needs Mechanics. This is from Nevermore Games, designed by Ben Rossett. The reason this is cool is because it's almost kind of a filler. The box says 45 minutes, and definitely you can play this in 45 minutes. Now, it's not a filler in the sense that it's very easy to play, but it's very much a strict kind of, hardcore economic game. It's very much just about the economics and sort of manipulating the market. But kind of I don't know if you call it a saving grace, but it's sort of extra gravy on top of it, is the ability to sort of temporarily build these different contraptions, because it's sort of a steampunk setting. And it's almost like, and I'll say it now in case I forget to on the review, it's kind of like the X Project. If you've heard of that, we have that in the United States. I think it's a global project, but I live here, so I assume everything happens here, but it's not the case. But, the X Project is basically, we want you to build a car that gets 100 miles per gallon, or we want you to build a rocket ship. And so all these people compete, and they try to do the best at it, and they win like $1 million or something. So the theme of this is basically, building a rocket ship for Victorian England, sort of in a steampunk universe, and you're trying to sort of manipulate the market and build different contraptions to, get the best prices, kind of for that competition. But it's really solid, and it's very interesting because the different contraptions that you can make are very varied. And it's going to kind of change up how people play the game and how they buy and sell. So anyway, I'll do more of a full review on this one. This is also very fun. And like I said, it's cool because it's got that nice chunky economics, but you get it in 45 minutes. And it's like, that's crazy. That was like playing an 18xx game in 45 minutes. I mean, I'm exaggerating, of course. But so the next 2 games is from Crash Games. And they're a relatively new company. I think they only got... No, they got 2 games before these, I think. I know they had Rise and another game, The Lost Dutchman. I think those are only two. I could be forgetting one. So this one here is Paradise Fallen, and this is very much a card game with a weird theme, sort of like a post-apocalyptic Hawaii. Basically, you're trying to drive your boat around and collect goods and get different sort of not technologies, but different abilities and things by exploring the different islands and sort of scavenging those up, and then sort of dealing with the dastardly deeds of your opponents and some of the remaining tribesmen there that have sort of reverted to more primal states, if you will. But it's got some very interesting stuff. So I'm going to not say too much about this one because I kind of spoiled it with Marcy's mechanics. But definitely this is an interesting one, very nice. One thing I will say about this one, sort of as a spoiler, I can't help myself sometimes. It plays very different with a 2 players versus more players, and I haven't figured out which one I like better. So this one will probably come in a week or so. I'll give us another play or 2 here to kind of clarify my thoughts on it. Last game, and definitely not least, is Council of Verona, and if I get time tonight, I may make a video of it, or tomorrow. This is kind of a love letter-y-ish type of game. It has an interesting sort of extra element to it. Besides the sort of, love letter, you have basically a one-hand card, you draw a card, and you play one of those 2 cards. Now this one you sort of draft before you start the game, and then you play out. So there's not like a one card thing. But there's a very small deck of cards. I think it kind of varies on the number of players, but I think there's usually like 12 to 15 cards. I don't remember how the count off the top of my head. But you play those out and you play them into different areas on the board. Either play them in a council or in the exile. Basically 2 zones you can play them in. But then you can take little markers and little influence markers and try to put them on the different characters. And each character has sort of a different, kind of a win condition or a scoring condition. So if this condition happens, that character is going to be worth points. And so there's sort of a double-edged bluffing. You've got the sort of the placement of the cards and which cards you're holding back to play at the end to kind of change up the state. But you also have the other sort of extra layer of putting those tokens out. And that makes it really interesting, really, really fun. And this actually comes with an expansion where you can actually kill the characters off because it's, Romeo and Juliet theme, and actually fits the theme really well, which I didn't expect. So this is a fantastic game. I'll try to get a review of this sort of simultaneous with this video, if not within the next day or so, because it does take a while to upload these things, unfortunately. So anyway, Council of Verona. So those are kind of the preview of coming attractions. I've got other games that I've been playing. I've been playing A Distant Plane from GMT, which is sort of the sequel to Alien Abyss. And that game is a freaking headache. There's so much going on. I will say with that game, I'm on my 3rd play of it. It's not as good 2-player as Alien Abyss is 2-player. I think that was an unexpected surprise. But this may be better, or at least as good, 4-player. You really got to play this one 4-player, I think, to get that extra dynamics. Or not necessarily that. I should take it back. With Alien Abyss, you kind of play as 2 factions on the same team as a 2-player. So I take 2, you take 2, and they both have to win. I don't like that style with A Distant Plane. Now, I haven't played it with, I take 1, you take 1, and the other 2 are robots, driven by the game. That probably just fine. But for that strict 2-player experience, Alien Abyss still has the, the cake for that. But this, because I haven't played A Distant Plane solo yet, but I could see that being just as good because it's kind of the same, that same tensions as in a 4-player game, except it's driven by an AI. So, that's just kind of, do I have people to play with? No. Okay, I play single player. It's probably just fine. But the way the 4-player works in that game is fantastic, and it's sort of a maybe the I don't know what the word is, but sort of the like sometimes a musician kind of works on a song or works on a style of music, and then they have that one album that really kind of crystallizes their sort of message or something, if you will. Can't think of anything off the top of my head, but that's, to me, kind of seems like A Distant Plane is it's that coin system, and it's really sort of the magnification of the principles of the coin system and that sort of loose sort of alliance thing that kind of happens with it. Interesting. And I also have Cuba Libre, haven't played it yet. So anyway, so that's kind of what's coming up. I just wanted to preview some of the Kickstarter games and that. Now I'm going to talk about Kickstarter, so if you're not interested, then go ahead and turn the video off. If you're watching this on Kickstarter, you're probably interested to know, or if you're still interested. So we hit our first stretch goal. A little bit surprised at that. I mean, not really. I mean, I'm confident in the services that I provide, so to speak. But I was, really stoked to see it hit the first stretch goal. We still have the Essen stretch goal out there, so I'm very happy. The thing would end now, then I'm more above and beyond happy. But it's a goal to have, and Essen has sort of been a, definitely sort of it's like Mecca, not to be disgraceful, but it's kind of like the Mecca for board games. So we still got that. So I've been talking about different stretch goals, or excuse me, different reward levels, and do we do T-shirts or dice and stuff? And the consensus has kind of been going back and forth, one direction or the other. I think right now I'm not going to deal with any sort of commodities and things. Just kind of make it purely video based, just to kind of keep my head straight, first of all, and not have to deal with shipping and stuff. So I came up with a couple more rewards based on some other feedback I've gotten from different publishers and different people, and so I've created one level. There'll be 5 slots at this. If you go look at the Kickstarter page now, they'll be there. Basically, it's $100 for the slot, and it's basically advertising for a year on my Drive-Thru Videos website. So there'll be basically one spot, and it'll rotate through 5 ads, or if less than 5 people buy them, that'll just be you, if you're the only one that buys it. So that'll show up for the whole year, for 2014. And so it's $100 for a year, and you basically be one of 5 showing up on the upper right hand side of the page, and so that will be available there. The other reward, there'll be 2 slots, and these are going to be $250 each, and basically it's sort of a live Google Hangout. The topic can be whatever you want, as long as it's PG or G, and at least somewhat game related. If somebody buys this and they want to talk about I guess My Little Pony's kind of game related, but if they want to talk about the Seahawks, I would love to talk about the Seahawks or the Lakers, but I'll probably just refund your money, because that won't be something I want to show on my channel. So there'll be 2 slots there if you want to talk about your games or your company, or you get some buddies together and you want me to interview you want to interview me, whatever. I want to leave it open. So that's kind of what I come up with, and so if anybody has interest in those things, definitely take a look. The feedback's been great. I just want to thank everybody that's contributed so far. I don't know, thank you is not enough, but I hope you get it. But yeah, so thanks for that, and definitely I will look for me doing some more of these videos here, and I will see you around. Thanks.